Hi guys, it's Karen from 50 is the New 50 blog, and I just want to welcome you and thank you so much for trusting me and jumping in and trying Mascara Beauty. I know you're going to just love it. And now that you've got your order, I wanted to kind of do a little private tutorial for y'all, and let's just kind of go over skin prep and doing a basic hack, which is highlight and contour. So this is going to be for us gals that have normal to dry skin, and that would be me and a lot of us. So we're going to go ahead and jump right in. And the first thing I want to talk about is your skin prep. So I did send you a little email, and the most important thing is to keep your skin exfoliated and hydrated, okay? So some of the things that I do are I use this Cure. I'll put the link to everything that we're talking about in the bottom of the video. But this is a really great gentle exfoliator, and use this maybe once or twice a week to kind of remove that top layer, that dead skin. Because it's a cream-based makeup, it's going to stick to everything. It sits on top of your skin. That's the beauty of it. That's kind of one of its really positive attributes. But because of that, if you have dry skin or flakiness, it's going to be one of those issues where it's going to look cakey or it's going to stick to that. So we want to exfoliate. The other thing we want to do is we want to make sure we are moisturized. And so I use the Milk Moisturizer through Mascara. I really like this. It's got really great compounds, and it just works wonderfully to kind of reset your skin, rebalance everything. And I use this morning and night, and you just pump this up and it gives you the perfect amount that you need. And I'll just tap this and then blend it in everywhere. Now the thing is that you want to always put your moisturizer on first thing. So we want to let everything soak in, the moisturizer get into your skin. So right after you get out, maybe put it on before you start drying your hair or go making that pot of coffee and whatnot, so that you get that soaked into your skin, so that when you're ready to apply your highlights in your foundation, which is the same term, highlight foundation is what we're talking about with the cream. It's not going to slide around because you've got moisturizer sitting on the top of your skin that hasn't penetrated, okay? So, exfoliating, moisturizing. Another thing that's kind of scary is facial hair. All right, so they have this really, really great little product. These are Tinkle, what a name, Tinkle, little razors. And again, I'll link these. They're on Amazon. They will help I just do this maybe once or twice a month. I'll just kind of go through and just check. It just depends on your skin and your hormones and things. But I'll go into those areas, especially along here, and get all that little peach. And you just gently kind of pull that down and check for spots where there might be extra little fuzzy hair, because again, the cream foundation sits on top of the skin and is going to sit on top of hair, okay? So we want to make sure that we're exfoliated, that we've removed any extra hair, little fuzzies that we get. Don't worry, you're not going to grow back a beard or a mustache. It just doesn't happen that way. Okay, so those are the things that we want to prep. All right, so we've done that. And then I put my moisturizer on. I went and made a pot of coffee, and I came back, and I am going to put some Stay Spray on my face. Now, the Stay Spray, I get it in with the SPF. You don't have to. It comes with an SPF. I think it's a 35, and it comes without an SPF. It just depends on your preference, but our makeup does not have SPF in it. So make sure that you do have some type of sun protection or SPF in either by using this or in some other product that you use, okay? So what I like to do is I take my Stay Spray. This is already my pre-dampened, wrung out really well perfector sponge. And I'll take some of my Stay Spray and I'm going to squirt some in there. And I'm going to kind of use this as a primer. Now, I don't have oily skin. This is for our gals who have normal to dry skin. But this helps just kind of prime my skin. I'll use it on my eyelids. So where do you have issues with your makeup about 3 o'clock in the afternoon? Do your eyelids start to crease? Do you notice that you maybe have some transfer from mascara onto underneath your eye. Do things move along your chin? So anyway, this is just a great prepper. So we're going to use that ahead of time. We'll also use it afterwards to set our makeup, okay? So now, let it dry. You could have just squirted all over your face too, but I just like having a little bit more control. Again, with normal to dry skin, we don't need a ton of prepping, okay? So let me take a break here from skin prep, and I am going to then start into our hack. Okay, so let's go ahead and start with our basic highlight and contour. And this is just going to be a basic everyday look. So right now, I don't have any makeup on except for my lovely Lashify fake lashes. If you haven't tried this brand, or if you've never tried home lash extensions, this is the easiest. Anyway, super easy. So what we're going to do first, and I have some color in my eyebrows. Okay, so some of you, I sent you a color corrector color. Now, when I say highlight, that's all the colors that create your foundation. So you may have only 2 highlights. You may have an all-over highlight, and then I may have sent you a brightening highlight. I may have said 3 highlights, which would be a color corrector highlight, a main highlight, and a brightening highlight. And then you have your contour color and your lip and cheek. All of those together create the Maskcara 3D foundation. So sometimes people will say, well, which one's the foundation? They all are. It creates it together. It blends together. So that's what we're working with. So I'm going to sit back for a second here, and I'm going to kind of show you some of the colors and things, you know. So we're all different colors. You just can't find in one bottle of makeup at the store the color that's going to work. It's, one flat color, and we're not flat, we're dimensional. So that's what's so awesome. So these up here are all highlights. These are all highlights from here up. I don't have all the colors, but these are all highlights, okay? This section here, these are some of the contours. And then this right here is some of those illuminators that we'll talk about. But as you can see, there's so many different color variations, and some of us may need 2 colors to create our foundation, or our main our foundation. Some of us may need 3. So if you were giving a color corrector, it might be because you have discoloration, like me, sunspots, highly pigmented areas, orange or blue, or dark circles or colors under your eyes. I have a lot of orange. Now, I don't have any eye makeup on my lid, but just see how orangey they are. I have a lot of freckles, and I have a lot of age spots. I know I've shown you guys this before. So I have a color corrector, and my color corrector, this is my everyday go-to. This is called a double mini stack. Anyway, we'll talk about the compacts here a little bit. So in mine, right here, let's see if I have it the right way for all of us to see. This is my color corrector. This is called Mango. And Mango is very orange. It may be somebody's main highlight, main foundation color. Highlight, foundation, I'm going to use those interchanging. So think highlight, she's talking about foundation. Okay, building that. So this is Mango. This color here I use as a color corrector to kind of cancel out all of these age spots, dark spots, and all of the sun damage. So what I do here, if you have a color corrector, you're going to kind of hit some of those spots. And later, if you decide, I think I might need a color corrector, you may. Later, different times of the year, we can talk about that. So color corrector, real quick, I just take this is a Detail Hack brush, but I could also apply it with my Buffy brush, okay? And I'm just going to go in with that Mango color. And just, again, biggest thing, big. Less is more. Less is more. Less is more. Let's say it 3 times. We want to build. We do not want to cake our highlights and the cream on. It's buildable. And so less really is more. So I'm hitting some of those spots. Look at that already. I'm going to put them on my eyelids. That's going to help color correct, and it also helps prime that eyelid. And you can also do this with one of your with your main highlight if you only got 2. So you can see that really helped. Let's go ahead and add it on the other side real quick. And again, if a color corrector, once you get your makeup, you decide, sometimes it's overwhelming. I don't want to throw a ton of colors at you right away unless, you know, you really, really need it. But this for me, I have so much sun damage and so much hyperpigmentation that this color just helps. Now, this is a little tricky again. I got to grab my mirror so I can see what I'm doing here. Okay, so I've just kind of just gently tapped that on, stippled it on. So that was an extra step if you did get a third color where I said it's a color corrector. Okay, so say it with me. I'm not going to be afraid of contour. All right, if you only got 2 colors, your main highlight and your brightening, you would also probably have gotten your contour. So contouring, don't be afraid of it. It is awesome. There's so many great things that contouring can do. So you can use the detail hack brush to contour. This is a great side of the brush. But I think when you're first starting out, the Buffy brush is amazing. It does everything. And really, it's really all you need to start. Okay? So I'm going to use the smaller end of this Buffy brush. And we're going to contour in 3 areas, almost like a C shape. Okay? That's not a C, an E. All right, so contouring. We would definitely want to contour and highlight our bone structure. All of us have it. Sometimes it's buried under some stuff, but we want to contour our cheeks. We want to contour underneath our jawline. This will help camouflage some of the double chin. This gives definition to our jawline. It's going to add a shadow. And that's what contouring is all about. We don't want to look like we have dirt on our face or makeup that just we didn't blend. We want it to look like a shadow. And we're going to use that to create a shadow. Now, I'm going to pin my hair back. I just got my hair cut and colored last night. All right. All right, let's pin that back. Let's see if that works. All right, I'm going to pin it back. All right, let's get it out of the face. Okay. If you have a broad forehead and you want to lower that forehead to emphasize your eyes, you can contour up here. If you have a wide face and you want to narrow your face, give the illusion of a thinner face, bring your contour down along the side. Okay, so these are some things that you can do. Let's start. So I'm going to pick up with this brush here and I'm just going to tap and stipple that in to my contour color. Now my contour color is ash. I would have color matched you to an appropriate color for you. So first place I'm going to put it is along my cheekbone. I'm going to take my finger, let's get to know our face, and there's my cheekbone. I'm going to start from the outside of my ear along there, and I'm going to stop right at the outside of my eye. So we don't want to go into this area here with our contour, into this laugh smile area. We don't want to go into there. That's kind of where you get into some issues. We're going to go right up to the outside of the eye. So I'm going to tap in, and I am going to be applying for the video a little bit darker because I want you guys to see everything. So I'm going to start. I can feel that right there. Right there. Okay. And I'm just going to bring that down to the outside of my eye. I'm just brushing that along. Okay. Right along there. You can tap it, brush, and then push it in. Okay. Now that's kind of one of my dark spots, my sunspot, that we'll work on when I do a little bit more of my main highlight. So we'll go ahead and go to the other side. We're going to find that bone, start over here at the ear. That's where it's going to be darker, and then kind of swipe it down, and then maybe kind of push and stipple that up underneath that cheekbone. Okay, so outside of my eye. And the amazing thing about this makeup is that it is movable and blendable. So if we add too much or go too high or come in too far, we're just going to blend it. We're going to push it back or pull it up. Okay, that's what's so awesome about it. All right, so then the next area, I do want to contour my forehead a bit. I'm going to work it up into my hairline, you know, almost like a half moon shape. We're going to add our contour. Now, if I had a wider face and I wanted to bring that in a bit, we're going to come down a little bit, down along the temples. Okay, so you're creating and adding dimension and shape with your contour. Excuse me. Got a little sniffly nose this morning. Okay. So we've created the top. We come in here, and then we're going to go down underneath our jawline. So again, we're going to start where the darkest color, where the shadow is the darkest. So up underneath your jawline, bring that down, under. You do not want to go along the side of your face. We don't want any beards looks. We want it underneath the jawline. We're camouflaging, we're emphasizing that jawline, adding a shadow. And pull it down. And come back over here. And underneath, okay? Lift up and I'll see if you guys can see it a little bit better. Okay? Already, look at that, between here and here. Okay, so I've already created that shadow. Almost kind of hides the stuff that's going on. Lifting up, defining my jawline. Again, I'm going a little bit darker because I want you all to see it, okay? All right, so contour, step 1. Then I'm gonna go ahead and flip my brush over, and I'm gonna use the buffier side of the Buffy brush. And these brushes are so awesome. They're so dense. They work with this makeup. And the biggest thing, again, like we talked about, is less is more. One of the biggest complaints you might hear or you might have issues with is like, oh my gosh, it just looks all cakey and I can see every wrinkle and every bump and lump. Well, we don't want to put a ton on. We want to build it in buildable, movable layers. Less is more. So if you find that you are getting way too much in your brush, you might want to just use your finger at first to kind of dab color on, or you might want to just gently. So let's just get going. I'll show you. So what we're going to do now is I'm going to go take, this is my main highlight color. Mine happens to be sandy. So this is my main color. I'm going to take my Buffy brush and I'm going to apply, I'm going to stipple it in, and I'm going to now apply that color everywhere except for not where the contour is. So let's go ahead and just start over here, and I'm just going to kind of tap and stipple because I'm going to go back in and blend, and I want this to be a very thin layer the first time through, okay? So I'm just kind of pouncing gently. I'm not digging or rubbing, just pouncing, picking up some color. Come over, okay? Get it on our nose. I'm going to pick up my brush so I can see what I'm doing here. All right. You can do a little swiping. Don't need a whole lot under our eye. I almost wish I wouldn't have done that because I'm going to go back. We're going to add the brightener underneath there. But that's okay. Another tip is if you feel like you need more full coverage, you could also apply your main highlight first all over your face, everywhere, and then do your contour if you feel like you need that full coverage, because we can do that. Okay. Now we're going to pull some color down in here. Okay. Buildable, buildable, buildable. Okay. Now we're going to go in with the brightening. Now brightening is all about bringing light to the center of our face, bringing, helping camouflage some of these under eye darkness by bringing the light here, bringing light to the center, kind of all in here, kind of like this little triangle. Diamond. We want this center of our face to come forward. We're going to do that with our brightening color, okay? And so this was my sandy, which was my main color, and then here is my brightening or accent color. This would be the second color I might have told you to get, and this one, mine happens to be Candlelit. So I'm going to go ahead and I just kind of took this and brushed the contour off of that, and I'm going to use this end of my brush, and I'm going to dip it in to that highlight color. Okay, so I'm going to start with the eye area. And again, less is more, okay? And especially underneath our eyes. I think the biggest mistake I made at first was putting way too much, and even before I had this makeup, way too much powder and makeup and primer and under eye concealer all underneath that eye, and all it did was emphasize these little bags I have and this creasing I have here. So we're going to start here by going on the inside very lightly. Look at that already, the brightening. Very lightly. I want to bring it down my nose, across, and it kind of like a triangle here. Then stipple, stipple, stipple. Just lightly stippling that down into an upside down pie shape. Okay. Go ahead and get a little bit more. We'll do the other side, starting up here in the center, up along my nose. And then I'm going to bring it down and across. And I'm kind of avoiding going right up underneath my eye, because when I barely have any on, then I'm going to go in, because I don't want to emphasize that area. I really don't. I want to emphasize underneath. I want to pull your eye. I want everybody else to be looking away from this area and down here where I can brighten it. Okay? All right. Let me just kind of finish up a little bit. Now, you can also put a little bit up here on the high part of your brow to extend or make your brow look wider. The other place you want to do it is you're going to kind of create this little triangle section right in here. Pull that down to our nose, right in here. We're brightening that whole center of our face. A little right above here and a little bit right down here in your chin. Okay, so let me go double check and make sure we are good. Stippling and a little bit of swiping. I think stippling when you're first starting out is really great because you're almost half blending as you go along. So we have contoured. I have brightened, and then I've done my main highlight in some of those other areas. So now I'm going to flip back over to my main larger end of my Buffy brush, and we are going to now blend everything together. So let's go ahead and start up here at the top, and I'm going to just pull and push kind of in a buffing motion. That's why I love this Buffy brush. It's awesome for that. The main color, the main contour, and blend that in. Look at that already. I've kind of softened that line up there. I don't want it to completely disappear, but we've softened that, okay? Now we'll kind of come in here, and I'm just going to gently stipple around my eye. We have that highlight colors, or the brightening colors, so we want to blend that in. Come under. And this stippling effect just kind of warms up and moves the makeup, softens those lines, starts to blend everything together. I want you to be careful around the contour area. We don't want to remove it, but we do want to soften that. Can you see how already that softened it? It's pretty harsh. Let's soften it over here. We're just stippling along the outside edges. And the two colors, the contour, see, and the highlight, have worked together and blended together. I'm not really cleaning my brush in between. I don't need to worry about that, because all of this works together to create the one foundation. Okay, I'm going to go and start doing some blending. I'm looking in my mirror over here so I can see what I'm doing. I want to make sure that I definitely blend, definitely stipple and blend and pull that color down where I had the contour pretty heavy, because I wanted you guys to see it underneath here. Put down onto my neck. Okay. All right, I'm going to go back in here. I'm going to flip over back to that brush and just kind of check some of that eye area gently. And then for just a little extra, I can take a little bit of that, my Candlelight, which is my brightening color, just pull that down my nose and just gently kind of tap a little bit just to add a little extra brightening there. Okay, now Perfector sponge. You have to use it. You definitely do. We're going to add the cheek and lip color here next, but I want to take my Perfector sponge. It's still damp. It's wrung out really well, and it still has a little bit of the Stay Spray on it. But this is where you can go in, and if you feel like you have got a little heavy-handed, or you feel like you're having a little trouble getting something to soften You're just dabbing, gently dabbing. We're not rubbing this makeup off, but we're gently dabbing, and we're using that sponge to meld everything into our skin, into those fine lines. This is awesome to use right in here. Really get that along the eye area, okay? So I'm gonna get in there so you guys can see a little bit better. You can still see my contour. Okay, now let's add our cheek and lip color. There's so many. They're so beautiful, okay? I don't have a ton, but I do have some really pretty colors. This one here is nude. It's a really gorgeous color. This is Desert Sunset. I believe this one is Saffron. It's one of the new colors, and it looks really, really dark, but it's very, very pretty. This is Pink Grapefruit, and this one is Ruby. You can use these by themselves. You can mix them. Obviously, you can use them on your lips. So really, really fun. And these should, I mean, these are gonna last, oh my goodness. They're highly pigmented. They're gonna last 6 months to a year. I mean, really, it's amazing. So I'm gonna go ahead and use the bigger end of my Buffy brush. And where do we wanna put our cheek color? So you wanna smile. And this is kind of where you wanna get it in the cheek, the apples of your cheeks, right in here. And then you're gonna move it up on top of that contour line towards your hairline. Almost, and so we're just stippling and then pulling up. So now let's add some color. All right, I think I will, for the camera, I'm gonna go ahead and pick up that ruby color because I want you guys to really be able to see it. And so you're gonna tap in here, smile, add it to the cheeks, the apples of your cheeks, and then move it up and towards and on top of that contour. And then as you start to stipple, again, you're blending those two colors together, and that is helping get that contour and the cheek color mixed together. So I can pick a little bit more up because I want you to see it. It's really pretty. Go ahead and add some on the other side. Okay. Grab my mirror. You could do a little buffing if you want, and you can stipple. Little circular motions. Check your color, check for it. That's really kind of hard to see on my camera. I apologize, but good color there, okay? I love to add cheek color. I think don't be afraid to add some color to your face. You really need to add that, especially if you're older. We get so light, you know, and I think one of the biggest mistakes we make, or I know I did, is my makeup was too light. You almost need to go darker, especially as you, with mature skin. Okay, so then I can go ahead and take, again, my little perfector sponge. And I can come in and hit some spots. All right, so that was a basic, and obviously I was talking quite a bit and I was pausing throughout, but a pretty basic hack, and I don't even have any eyeshadow on. So we can take our Stay Spray, give it a couple squirts, let it dry, or I can use the sponge to kind of tap if I got it. But that's, and it smells like coconut. Wonderful. That's got that SPF in it, so now I've got a nice, and it should set. So normal and dry skin, basic application, everyday color. I can take that same color with my finger and apply it to my lips. I can ring, oh yeah, we're going to talk about compacts here in a sec. Okay. A little bit of lip color there. All right, boom, 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 boom. I just love these little brushes. Okay, great thing. So, your compacts. Okay, you probably got yourself a quad pack. So if you got a basic 4 tins, you get a free compact. If you go, I think it's 10 tins. Let me bring up my note. You can get a mini double. All right. This was a double hack, like a mini double stack, I think. So this one is awesome. So you can also purchase these later if you just want to get cases as you start to add more maybe lip and cheek colors or illuminators, which we didn't talk about, but we will. All right. So this is nice. I can throw this in my purse. Look at how easy this is. We can travel with these. We don't have to have bags where we're digging. Here's some with eyeshadows in it. I mean, grab a brush, grab our stack. You can grab a sponge, throw it in your purse, and you're good, right? You can use this throughout the day, get it a little damp if you needed to go in. You can also just use your finger, the warmth of your finger. If things start to crease throughout the day, especially for us older gals, and you can just tap. The makeup sits on top, so it starts to warm up, and then you just tap and move that around. Okay? So, easy, magnetic, easy, super great way to just travel, to put it in your purse throughout the day if you need to do a little bit of touch up. I didn't talk about our illuminator. So illuminators are those awesome icing on the cake that we talk about that just add even more glow to our face and more youthfulness to our face. And so one of the favorite ones, I've got 3 that I like a lot. I like Pearl, which is right here. I'll go ahead and put that on with my finger. And oops, my lighting's getting weird. Let me switch that. Okay. Right at the highest part of my cheekbone there. So I want you to see it. See how you can see that? That's Pearl. Let me go ahead and show you. If you got like rose gold, that's a really pretty one too. So see, they're just these beautiful brighteners. So you can just use your fingers to dab that in at the highest part of your cheekbone and over the blush. You can also use the perfector sponge. You can even pick it up in a little bit with a perfector sponge and dab it on. You can also put some just down the bridge of your nose, just add a little brightness. And even if you wanted some extra brightness up in that highest part where that bone is in your brow, right above there. Lifting, 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 opening up the eye, adding some color and glow to our face. Okay, so I am not using any powder. I have dry skin, normal skin. I'm not going to use powder. If you feel like throughout the day, even with your dry and normal skin, you have a few areas that you might start to get a little bit oily or you feel like things are moving, you can use some translucent Airspun powder, or we have this Angel powder. It's a little tin. You could throw it in with your case, and you can bring that with you. And let's say throughout the day you feel like there's some areas that you feel like you might be getting a little, so just dab a little bit. And we call this baking, where you're just going to kind of, let's say under here I feel like things are moving maybe later in the day, just tap a little bit. The nice thing is about this color, this powder that we have, it's actually another brightener. It actually adds even just more brightness. You could also use like an Airspun powder. This old school Airspun powder is awesome. Some gals who feel like their makeup moves, they actually use, this is a great tip, is they'll spritz their perfector sponge with some Stay Spray, and they'll actually dip it in, get a little bit in there, into the Airspun powder. So they're getting it on their sponge, and they're actually using that in their areas where they know later in the day, I don't want to put it there, that's my spot where I get all flaky, but let's just say maybe on my chin I'll get a little shiny throughout the day. So that you can just kind of gently tap and use that as a setting. Okay, so those are some tips. I'm going to do a separate video for the gals who might have more oily skin and want more of a matte look. And so I really like, I don't have oily skin, I have very dry skin. But this my milk moisturizer has really helped quite a bit with the flakiness that I get. I get flaky here and here, really, really dry, especially along the side of my face where I have all that sun damage. Let's see what else we can talk about here. So we prepped our skin. We put our moisturizer on, we walked away, we let it soak in, we let it penetrate before we went and put our cream foundation on, okay? Then I primed a little bit with some Stay Spray, and then we went right in. If you needed to color correct, we did that. Then we went in and we contoured, main highlight, brightening or accenting highlight, okay, to bring the face forward. Blended everything together. We used our HAC brush to blend. We used our perfector sponge to blend, soften, lift any excess, okay? And then we used our Stay Spray at the very end, give it a good squirt, or apply it here to set our makeup. Done. Okay? I'm so excited. I'm so excited for everybody. And I'm going to keep doing more of these videos that are just for you guys, just for my clients. But this is the beginner. I just got my kit. I just got my first makeup from Maskcara. I want to know how to put it on for an everyday look and prep my skin if I have normal to dry skin. And that was what this was about. Okay? So I'm just going to go through. I'm just kind of reading some of my notes here. And again, experiment. It's just makeup. Have fun with it. Have fun with your face. Play and have fun. The neat thing is that this is all blendable. And if you really don't like what you did, take it off and start over. But by using your perfector sponge and by using this, you can always add more color. If you got too heavy-handed, you can lift. I mean, if you moved it where you didn't want it, you can lift and blend. So it's really foolproof. It really is. Just do not be afraid. Just get in there, get to know your face, get to know what you need to do, what works best, and always reach out to me. Always, always. Please email me, message me, text me, and you're going to ask me any questions that you have. And if you start to feel like there's areas that you need some troubleshooting, then we're going to fix it and we're going to figure it out. So thank you. I am so happy to have you with the 50 is the New 50 blog. Thank you, gals, and I'll have more videos coming soon. Thanks.